Well, I thought I'd give you a quick update on my fruit trees. This is my miniature pixie fruit tree. And as you can see, I've got all kinds of peaches, loaded on this tree. There's just tons of them. So this one's gonna do real good. I've got a Granny Smith apple, which is just starting to get some leaves on it. This tree I planted at the same time I planted my Anna apple, and it just really hasn't grown very much. But every year it gives me about 10 to 20, apples. But it really hasn't been my best tree that I've had here in the backyard. The next tree that I have is my apricot tree. And this is the first year since I planted it that we're actually going to get apricots. Usually I get about 10 apricots on the whole tree. This year it's absolutely loaded with apricots. So I'm really excited. I'm thinking that because of how the fruit tree has got so many apricots on it this year, I may do some bird netting on it. But as you can see, it's really doing good. So I'm hoping the apricots will be ready within the next month. And it's looking very, very nice. All the blossoms are off it now, and it's just the fruit that's formed on the trees, and some of the branches still don't have their leaves or blossoms on it. I think that's always kind of interesting, but it's doing very, very good. This tree is my Hancock Peach. This is actually a white peach. It's extremely, extremely delicious. This is probably my favorite fruit tree that I have. As you can see, it's also got all kinds of little fruits on it. They're very small. They're still losing some of their blossoms, but I think part of the reason that my trees are doing so much better this year as far as producing more fruit is because I did a red clover in my garden, which just brought hundreds of bees. And so, as you can see, I've got lots of little fruits forming on these, and they're, like I said, it's my favorite fruit tree that I have in the backyard. This is a Kim Peach. It's an Alberta Peach, and again, it's also going to be loaded with peaches. I don't know how many, but it seems like every single one of the blossoms has little peaches growing out of it, so it got pollinated. We also increased the watering this year it's on a drip system, and we increased it to about 10 minutes. I think it's 3 times a week. And it's done really well. It's going to have a lot of peaches. This particular tree is a white nectarine. I just planted it last year, and I think it's probably got close to 50, 60 peaches on it. And it's kind of funny. They're kind of a dark color on the outside, but they're supposed to be a white peach on the inside. So I'm real curious to see how this tree will do as compared to some of the other ones. And then I have a red nectarine tree here, which again has tons and tons of fruit on it. It's doing really well. I think it's going to be, it's also growing quite a bit of new leaves, which, sometimes when you get a lot of growth on the ends, you don't get as many fruits, but this one is setting a lot of fruit. As you can see, there's just tons of fruit sitting on this tree. My trees, I'm just so pleased. They've done really well this year. And then this is a pomegranate tree. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was a red pomegranate on the inside, but it's more of a white pink pomegranate. It's got a lot of blossoms. I think it'll have quite a few fruit on it. It did last year. I can't say it's the best pomegranate I've ever had. I just prefer the dark, deep red pomegranates, but it's okay. And then this is a European plum. Last year I got 0 fruit on this. I didn't get anything off of it. But this year there's actually quite a few plums growing on it. I don't know if you can see them in there. They're green, so they match the leaves. Let's see if I can find a couple for you. There's one. They're really hidden. There's actually quite a few plums on here. They're just kind of hard to find. There's a few there. They kind of clump in like 4 or 5 plums on each branch. So there's not, not as many as like the peach tree, but it's really doing well. I was worried that this one was going to have to be taken out. We had a lot of problems with aphids last year. The tree just did not do well. But I pulled everything back, increased the watering. I've been using a lot of the super soap, trying to organically get rid of any kind of, infestations of bugs and what have you. This is a Apricot tree. And again, I just planted this tree last year and I've already got fruit on it. It's not going to be a ton, but at least we'll be able to see what they taste like. And then this is my Anna apple. I am just starting to get leaves on it with a few blossoms. This one, every single year since I planted it, I've had a ton of fruit on this tree. And I did quite a few grafts on this, which all of them took. Here's one here. And there's another one right here. If you can see those, they've all healed up. And I think this tree is going to do really good again this year. I did another graft here. You can tell I still have some of the tape on it, but I've also got blossoms, so I'll probably take that tape off. Actually, I could do it right here, I think. See how it looks. That's a funny looking graft, but it took. Oh, that's funny, but it's doing well. So I think I grafted the, can't remember. I know I did a couple of grafts of the Granny Smith on here because I was thinking of taking my Granny Smith out. So I think altogether I've got 4 or 5 grafts on here. They all took, they're all doing really well. But just starting to get blossoms on these. This is a beautiful tree when it gets its blossoms. I'll get some pictures after they're, have more of them opened up, because it's a gorgeous tree. So anyway, that's what I have so far. And in the next video, I'll show you some of my other trees. All right, take care. I decided to add in a little bit of my rose garden and my herb garden. And this is my mint. I have some parsley and some mint growing here. And then right next to it, I've got some thyme, which probably some of this needs to be trimmed back and, dehydrated or what have you. Then I've got some oregano. It's doing really, really well. That was just a little tiny plant that I planted last year, and it's just really taken off. I've got a few chives down there, and this is a behemoth of a rosemary bush. I actually trimmed a lot of that back last year. Looks like some of it's kind of died, so I'll have to trim that, but it's overall it's really healthy. I wanted to show you my roses. They're just absolutely beautiful. I've got tons of roses. I need to cut some of these heads off so the other ones will bloom. But this is I think it's called a dark night. And I love these because they've got the dark rim on the outside of the rose, and then the inside's light. Beautiful, beautiful plant. And I've got some geraniums. I've got kind of a peach rose, which again, those are really healthy and doing really well. I cut those back, and I'm just really happy with how well these roses have done. I've just got, such good success with them. And then this is actually my favorite rose bush. I think it's called a Queen Elizabeth, and it's these beautiful, beautiful pink roses. They're just absolutely gorgeous. The rose bush is, you know, very prolific, lots of roses. So I thought you would enjoy that. And so that's the end of my garden tour, my tree tour. Bye-bye.